Okay, welcome back to another Wednesday live with Graham. People in the chat, people here early. Let me know if you can see and hear everything okay. I want to be able to have a big conversation with you today. There'll be a lot more back and forth today, a little less teaching for me, a little more talking. I'm so glad that this even happened. This is just, I'm kind of giddy today. It's been a fun week. So let me know if you're ready. Okay, Scott's ready. CBI Web Services is ready. Jones is here. Chocolate Twist Yoga, Teachication. Zan the Man was the first person here. He somehow gets in here early. I love it. Okay, we're gonna talk about what happened with Facebook a little bit. I'm gonna just outline a couple of key points of what I think some of the big takeaways are, what this means for us, what to do about it. And then I really want to open the door to longer Q&A today to have a conversation about how this has affected you, how you're thinking about it, how this has made you think about your online business. If you have any questions about all of this, we're going to open up the Q&A for the majority of today's Live with Graham. This is just a really relevant conversation. So to catch you up to speed, as you should already know by now, if you're on any of these platforms, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, but Monday, they went down for about 6 hours. And here's how I found out. I was traveling on Monday. All weekend, I've been out of town. Friday through Sunday, I was in DC, and then I came back to Tampa, then I went to Dallas Sunday night, and I was flying back for a quick trip. I was flying back from Dallas on Monday. So I was on a plane. I was both in a meeting and then immediately on a plane, and I don't use these apps anymore anyway. So I wouldn't have known. It wasn't like I tried to go post or check something and it wasn't working. When I land in Tampa on Monday, I get a bunch of pings from friends. A couple of guys in my mastermind reached out to me. My buddy Marcus, who's on my team, reached out to me. I'm like, dude, do you know that Facebook has been down all day and people are losing their freaking minds? And I love that they all thought of me. All right, I love that they all thought of me and reached out to me. I feel like I'm doing my job if people reach out to me when Facebook goes down. I don't know why this become one of my soapboxes, but I had no idea, and I was exhausted. But immediately I was like, we need to talk about this week, because this is a problem for a lot of people. And so what I want to talk about is what happened. Well, think about this, for example. I don't know how long you've been using social media or how old you are. Some of you are younger and grew up with these platforms. Some of you are older than me. And I feel like I'm old when it comes to social media. I didn't have Facebook. It didn't exist until I was in college and towards the end of college. And it was universities only. Like your school had to have access to Facebook. And I remember getting on it back in 2004, 2005 and thinking like, what the heck is this? Why would anyone care about this? The last time Facebook had a major outage like this was 2008. And it was down for a day, which sounds insane. But back then, there were only 80 million users on the platform, only 80 million, which is amazing. Today, between all of Facebook's products, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, and many others, they have 3 billion users. That's half of the frickin' planet almost, which is insane. So 80 million people having their platform down for a day is a big deal 13 years ago, but 3 billion people having these platforms down. And a lot of people, for example, use WhatsApp as like a group text. They use it to just literally communicate with family members. It's not really like a posting thing. It's just a direct person-to-person thing. It affected 3 billion people for 6 hours. People were losing their freaking minds. So what happened? Why is this important? Well, a lot of stuff couldn't go down on Monday. If you were in the middle of a product launch and you used Facebook or Instagram to do IG Lives or Facebook Lives to answer questions about your product or to promote your product or to do the actual webinar and teach inside of your Facebook community or group, like you couldn't do it. If you run ads, your ad revenue plummeted. I know it's only 6 hours, but for some people, that's a big chunk of revenue lost, especially if you're in the middle of a launch. Maybe you're not always running ads, but maybe this week is a launch. And so you're doing ads and you're like, wow, I can't even pay money to get people to pay attention because the platform doesn't exist. And that affects Instagram ads as well. Or how about this? So many people rely on Instagram DMs, direct messages, to get clients, coaching clients, consulting clients. And so there's a whole world of people that believe that a DM is a legitimate form of communication. It's not. Okay. Email is, so don't DM me because I'm not going to check it. Right. But literally that's how people make a living. They DM people, they leave comments, DM me, and they couldn't do that. That's 6 hours of not being able to land clients. Now, depending on the size of your business and your interaction with these platforms, to you, you might be like me, like, what's the big deal? So Facebook was down for 6 hours, so you couldn't post about your cat being afraid of cucumbers or whatever it is. Like that's, to some people, it's not a big deal. But to a lot of business owners, that was a massive deal. It meant lost revenue, interrupted product launches, frustrating start to the week. So there's just 3 things I want us to think about in light of this. What should we do about this? How should this affect us? And then I want to open it up for a conversation. I want to answer questions. I want to get your thoughts on the screen so that you can talk to my audience. I want us all to have a conversation. So we'll do that for the majority of the time today. But the first thing that came to mind is never, and I mean never, rely on just one communication channel or one platform. If you're running your entire business inside of Facebook, Monday was a giant wake-up call. If you're like, Facebook is for old people, I run my entire business on Instagram. It's still Facebook, and it still was down for 6 hours. Big mistake. And the same could be said with TikTok. If you run your entire business on TikTok, what if their servers go down for 6 hours? I mean, there's whole articles now saying that it's all a conspiracy too. I don't know what the conspiracy is or what there is to benefit from it, but it doesn't matter. If they're playing games and your whole business is built in their sandbox, they own the sandbox, it goes down intentionally or unintentionally, you're screwed. So you never want to rely on just one platform to get the word out to run your business, especially a platform you don't control. Whatever you think about Facebook, I'm not here to pick on Facebook as a platform. I don't like it anymore. I don't use it really. But that's beside the point, because a lot of people make a lot of money on Facebook or on Instagram or on TikTok for that matter. So personal opinion of whether I like the platforms or not is not the point. It's just the danger of not being diversified, right? It's just like if your only income source is your day job and you lose your job. Well, wow, that's really, you should never have just one source of income. You should always have at least 2. Even if you're a full-time employee of someone else, have a little side business, have a little thing on the side. Never rely on one thing because it's just too risky. So that's the first point, which leads me to the second point, which is no matter how many platforms you have, they could all go down. I think somebody mentioned in the comments when it just went live, like, well, YouTube could go down. Yes, it could. YouTube could also just shut down your channel because the bots a lot of times are getting this wrong. They're saying you violated the community guidelines. You're doing explicit material, on your channel, and you're not. Like, it's just a mistake. And I've had friends have their channels shut down for hours at a time, incorrectly. You never want to rely on one platform. That's why you want to build and own your own audience on an email list. You'd think that this would be common sense. But do I get made fun of when I talk about building an email list? Made fun of. Graham, who checks email anymore? Just use Facebook. Just use Instagram. People just DM people, right? Yeah, that's great until it all goes down. You don't own that relationship. Facebook does. Your email list, you own that relationship. So what happened when Facebook went down? Well, one of my students I just saw, Chrissy, inside of my community, my 6-figure coaching community, she was in a launch. Facebook went down. She just emailed her list and was like, hey, Facebook is down. If you're having a problem with that, here's your backup plan, because she's teaching people to start businesses as well. So she capitalized on it. And how did she get the word out? She made about $1,000 in like 20 minutes of sales. How did she make that $1,000? Because she had an email list. People, she was able to circumvent Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and go right to the people and show up in their inbox and link to her website, which she owns. You own your website as your own little corner of the internet. You own the email list. You can contact them whenever you want. So you always want to own and build your own audience via email. So I don't mind you using the platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever the next thing is when those all shut down and people don't care about them anymore. But if you're building an audience there, it's not really your audience. You're just renting it. You're just borrowing it on someone else's platform. So you need to get those people off of those platforms onto your email list so that you can contact them directly. In general, it's just a good idea because you'll sell more product via email. The stats continue to show that email marketing drives more sales online than social media, paid or organic. But it's also just a backup in case something like this happens where these platforms are down for 6 hours. So build your email list. But then here's this. I thought about this too. Well, Graham, your website could go down because it's built on a server, and a web host, and those go down. Everything goes down from time to time. Don't get me wrong. I've had my site go down for 30 minutes, an hour. Anything could go down, but anything could go down for 6 hours or a day or whatever in the middle of a launch, and that's frustrating. So yes, your site could go down too. Your email marketing platform could go down too, right? So what do you do then? Well, that's why you don't want to just bank on even just your email list. You want to bank on something like recurring revenue. Have some sort of membership or subscription product or payment plan options or ongoing coaching or mastermind or some product that even if your website goes down, your email list goes down, the whole internet goes down, you know what won't go down? Stripe charging their credit card for access to your community. Right? There's something beautiful about not needing anything to make money, not even your email list. So that was just sort of like going a little bit further than where we're going to go today. But if you really want to future-proof anything, make sure you have some recurring revenue built in so that even if your entire site and email marketing platform goes down, you are still being able to charge credit cards, make a living, and when everything's up and running, you're good to go. But with email lists, again, this is so huge. When you've had platforms go down, you can pivot. You can let your people know instantly, hey, this is down. We're going to do the webinar over here. Or, hey, YouTube shut down my channel, so now I'm going to be uploading over here. Like, that's why you have a list. That's one of the reasons why. So you never want to rely on one platform. You want to build your own audience via email so you own the audience and own the relationship and can contact them directly. And then if you want to take it a step further, create recurring revenue, so that you don't rely even on email promotions or your website even being up to make a living, at least some income, because it's just predetermined and the credit card's going to be charged no matter whether your website or email is up at all. And finally, to that end, this was really timely. I want to help you this because I've actually got something going down. Next week, I'm doing an entire live training, something I call the audience attraction formula. This isn't a 45-minute webinar. This is a 4+ hour course, basically, that I've put together that I'm going to be live streaming and teaching to you. And it's completely free to attend. Okay, this is going to be happening next Thursday, October 14th. If you can only even come for 1 hour or 30 minutes, it'd be worth it. A, it's free. So don't worry if you're like, oh, I don't know if I can make the whole thing. Just register, get all the details there. It's free. Come watch some of it or all of it if you can. And what I'm doing in this training, based off of surveys to my audience, based off of comments I see here all the time, is audience building is the missing piece, right? So maybe you've launched a course, maybe you've got a community, but you're not making enough money. The biggest reason is you don't have a big enough audience or an engaged enough audience. And so what I want to do is help you understand the psychology of people. This is a bunch of new material that I haven't taught anywhere else that I'm really excited to bring to you. The psychology of what makes a brand attractive, your communication. We're going to break down and write headlines, like how to write headlines and subject lines, titles for videos. We're going to look at how to do thumbnails for your videos. If you don't do videos, we're going to talk about email. We're going to talk about just your brand identity, like what people think about your brand when they interact with it, and how to be intentional to make a brand that literally attracts people. So you don't have to go out and find them. They come to you. They come to you because they are attracted to your brand. This is going to be a deep dive into what will make your brand stand out from somebody else's and help you build that audience so that you have more people to sell to, more people to get feedback from, to know if you're even making a difference. And then really to push your business forward. It's going to be amazing. Like I said, it's next Thursday, October 14th. It's free. Just go to grahamcochran.com/formula, register. Even if you don't think you can come, register to get a spot and get the details just in case on the day of you can come, even for an hour. I'm not teaching this anywhere else. There's not going to be a replay of this. You got to register if you want to come see this thing, but it's really something I should be charging for, but I'm going to be teaching it for free. I'm going to take most of the day next Thursday. I'll be prepping for it. I've been prepping for it for weeks, but it's going to be really, really valuable. It's going to be worth your time. because I know your time is valuable, and I wouldn't invite you to a 4-hour thing if it weren't jam-packed with value. So come to that. Just register there. It's on the screen, grahamcochran.com/formula. But what I really want to do, those are just some of my basic thoughts, but I really want to hear what you have to say. I really want to answer questions about this. We can talk specifically about Facebook, social media. We can talk about email list building. We can talk about any of these things, but I'm curious, did this shutdown affect you on Monday? If so, how? And then what are your thoughts on it, your opinions on it, or your questions on it? Brad's one of my six-figure members. I personally hate Facebook. I only use it for my free private Facebook community, which funnels people to my email list. So, Brad, that's a great example of how to use Facebook well, is to leverage it to get people onto the email list. I love that. Ology says, 100% agree with everything you're saying. What if your entire business is in Kajabi? What happens when Kajabi is down? Yeah, so that's why you want to have some recurring revenue. So launch a membership, launch some kind of coaching product, so that you're getting those payments every single month, even if Kajabi is down, because Kajabi isn't handling the payment. In reality, it's either PayPal or Stripe that has the credit card on file and charges it. The interesting thing about Kajabi is there's so much money put into that to keep that thing up and running. And you think the same thing would be true about Facebook. And it's a good example. Facebook was only down for 6 hours. But the beautiful thing about Kajabi is, again, if you've already made your sales before it went down, or you have recurring revenue, all of that is not happening inside of Kajabi. It is happening in the payment processor. Yasmin says, so many thoughts. The shutdown relieved me from Instagram. I deleted Facebook years ago. I do believe this will happen again. That's an interesting way to put it, Yasmin. I've seen other people say they were so glad that it happened because they were like, well, maybe I'll go outside, live my life. I love it. Let's see. The majority of businesses here rely exclusively on Facebook and Instagram, do not have websites, and don't do email. Everybody here communicates exclusively by Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. And where is that that you're at that people are doing that? Because that is really, really scary. It's not scary necessarily to use those platforms, but to have your entire business built on those platforms, especially platforms that are free. Be wary of building your business on a free platform. There's no incentive for them to keep it up. Obviously, they want to make money through ad revenue. Whereas, let's say Kajabi or your web host or wherever you host your website, you're a paying customer. And so it's very much in their best interest to keep everything up and running, because literally you will go somewhere else. Facebook knows you're not going to go somewhere else. That's why they can do whatever they want, which is, it's not good. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. That's sad. Let's see. CBI Web Services said, very soon after the blackout, I remembered your words, Graham, from your past podcast about relying on social media. Hopefully this will convince more people. And then Zan, oh man, you quoted me. Without an audience, nothing is possible, but with an audience, anything is possible. Yeah, you need to have your own audience. So, so important. You want to own that relationship. Fly Ride, what's up, Chris? I posted a video to my main and second channel about an hour after I saw everything was down. Same message to my community. Now we have Facebook Reels to bring us back to the rented land. Exactly. Oh, man. It's so sad. Gospel Progressions University says, super discouraged and frustrated. No one really seems to care about what I do. I post and it's Cricketsville. Ooh, okay. So this is something you probably want to come to the training next week. The audience attraction formula, because we're going to be talking about that to some degree. If no one cares about what you're posting, if you really mean nobody, maybe you're posting something that nobody cares about, meaning you need to pivot. If you're not getting enough traction on what you're posting, it could just be an audience size thing. So obviously the bigger your audience, the more engagement you will see, but it's certainly, it just depends on what kind of feedback you're getting. Cool. You'll be there. Awesome. Dick says, I never understood businesses that only have their web presence with Facebook. Yeah, they're lazy. They're lazy, and like Facebook, and understandably so, Facebook lulled them into um, sleep, in that, like, look, this is where all the communication's happening. This is where life's happening. Facebook is where the internet happens. That's kind of what they've become. I mean, by sheer size, but it's also what they want to imply. And of course, that's what people want to hear. Like, oh, good, I don't have to build and maintain a website. I don't even know how to design a website. I'll just have a Facebook page. And let's not pick on Facebook. It could be the same thing with LinkedIn. Oh, I'll just have a LinkedIn page. Oh, I'll just have a TikTok account. Oh, I'll just have an Instagram. And we've been in an era in the last 5 years where people have been like, what's the point of a website? What's the point of an email list? I can just have a good social media presence. And I hope this is waking people up to the fact that that is just living in complete denial of the fact that you're just assuming that these platforms, A, will exist forever, B, will be popular enough that your audience will stay on them, because what happens when they all flee those platforms that you've built everything on and they don't want to go to Facebook to check out your page? But C, we're assuming that these companies have our best interests at heart. Can we please just finally acknowledge that they don't? And I'm not saying that every company that makes a profit is bad. That's not the point. I have no problem with Facebook making a lot of money. I have a problem with Facebook making a lot of money by building a product that actually doesn't help people, but harms people, and they don't care about it. Some of the stuff that's been coming out, and we're not going to go into this, but some of the stuff that's been coming out, the accusations against Facebook and Instagram, that they're intentionally promoting fake news and misinformation to stoke people's anger and emotions, and to stoke engagement and conversation, even though they know it's wrong. And just how damaging these platforms are to the mental health of people, especially young girls, of which I have two, which is why we don't let them get on these platforms, because they're toxic. There's good and bad to both all of these platforms, but allowing the bad to actually intentionally promoting the bad and then not acknowledging it and pretending like it's all just fun and games. It's not. So don't assume these platforms are for your good. And dude, what if there's, sanctions put on them by the US government, and the government shuts them down? Then do you really want your entire brand built around these platforms? So I know it's been trendy to just point people to your social handles and not point them to your email list, or not point them to your website. Big mistake. If you're going to point them to your social handles, that's fine. But on your social accounts, you need to be offering them massive value to get on your email list, so that you have all this protection. Christopher, what's up? Another 6-figure community member. What's interesting is that even people who sell themselves as music artists also have email lists and newsletters to contact their people, showing the importance of a list. 100% true. You know who else has email lists? Home Depot, Apple, Nike, right? Facebook. You ever thought about that? Facebook will email you. Apple emails you. I mean, all these companies email you. Why? Because they know that emails drive sales, and they know that they own the relationship with email. So yes, musicians, artists have email lists because they know that that's what works. People check their email, and email gets checked. Rohit says, does Facebook like us directing traffic to our webinar opt-in page? Do they penalize us for this in the algorithm? Potentially. Usually these platforms want to keep people natively on the platform. So I use YouTube tremendously, right? And YouTube, their algorithm is set, as far as I understand, to promote and prefer channels that keep people on the platform, keep people watching the next video, watching the next video. So when I am telling people to leave YouTube, like I am right now telling you to go to grahamcochran.com/formula to sign up for my audience attraction formula free live training next week, technically the algorithm probably doesn't like that. But I don't care what the algorithm likes. I care about what I like. Because I need to do what's best for my business, right? So I'm using the platform in a way that's best for my business. Now, I do want to have favor with the algorithm, in that if no one discovers my videos, then it doesn't really help me. So it's a give and take. So I'll do the things that YouTube likes, but my main call to action has to be what benefits me. And what benefits me is not getting more likes or them watching more videos. That's only a means to an end. The end is I need them to leave YouTube and opt into my list. Flyride says, I'm considering business cards again for the first time in a decade. Watch it all go back to good old-fashioned business cards. Magda says, Graham, your free content is more valuable than a lot of paid programs. You helped me upgrade my online business so much and gain clarity. Thank you for existing. I can't wait to get your book. Hey, thank you so much. I appreciate that. CBI says social media is basically useless for running a business. It can be helpful, but relying on it is not living in reality. Yeah, I mean, certainly some businesses rely on it more directly for clients and business than others. But I think every business should really consider not relying on it, because again, I like to diversify. I don't bank on any one thing, and I do that in my finances. I do that in my business income stream, and I do that in sort of audience building platforms. So I love that. Mary Scott, thanks for your advice on posting what people care about. I posted from a few different content buckets that have a clear idea what my audience wants now. That's awesome. So happy for you. Simple option trading. I only use YouTube to get folks to my lead magnet. It has been slow and I only get 100 people per month. 700 people on my list. How large should my list be before I offer my paid course? I think you're at a sweet spot. Offer your course now. I usually tell people 500 is a good metric when it's time to launch a course. It's not going to make a ton of money right now because it's a small audience, but it's a big enough audience size to see proof of concept, make some sales, and then if it works, you can put it in your evergreen email funnel. Jones says, email marketing. For you, do you go by open rates or click through to sale to determine success? Open rates are interesting. I mean, open rates tell you one thing. They tell you if there's interest in the subject line. I mean, it's all they tell you. They don't tell you if the email is good or if the email worked, but they tell you if the subject line was effective or not. So that's somewhat helpful. I think what's more helpful is the people that take action. So click-through rates are very interesting because then that tells you if people really liked what you had to say and wanted to go take action by clicking over to watch the video, whether it's free or paid, or click through to the sales page. So click-through rates are lower on sales emails, obviously, because they know it's a pitch for something paid. But I do track click rates, but ultimately I track results. So if I'm doing a promotion or a launch, let's say, I want to see how many people actually bought based off of how many emails went out. So if I had 1,000 people on my email list, whether the email landed in spam, got opened or clicked or not, I just look at the total number of people on my email list versus the number of people that actually bought and look for that percentage. And usually you're looking for 1% of that total email list to convert to know that it was a good launch. 0.5% at minimum, but 1% is a great thing to aim for. Magnivore says, what is the best way to have a digital product automatically send to someone when they purchase it rather than manually sending the product? Oh, I'm glad you asked this question. I mean, you need a tool. I use Kajabi. There's a lot of tools like that where when they buy it through a Kajabi sales page, it automatically gives them a login information, much like your Amazon Kindle account or something, and they can log in and start streaming the product right away. If you're just sending a digital download of something and it's not necessarily a video, like it can be a digital ebook or something like that, you can use a tool like eJunkie or SendOwl, and they will automatically send an email with a zip file when people buy. They're connected to your payment provider. But yeah, check out Kajabi if you haven't already. I have a 30-day free trial if you want to check it out using my affiliate link. Just go to grahamcochrane.com/Kajabi, and then you can play with that for 30 days and see if it's a good fit for you. Yasmin says, is YouTube the best place to migrate to in conjunction with having our websites, course teaching platforms, and or email funnels? I want a business long lasting, not reliant on any platform. Yeah, so Yasmin, I mean, build your products on a platform like Kajabi, for example. There's other, again, you don't have to use Kajabi if you want to use a competitor, but Kajabi is the best. Wink. It's true. It really is. They're good people. But you want to, have your product set up, your website set up, and that's like your little corner of the internet. Your domainname.com will point them to all of that. You own that. What I like about YouTube is that it's a search engine. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, not a search engine. They're just social media. YouTube, very differently. It's a search engine. It's the second most visited website in the world. It's the second most visited search engine in the world, next to Google for both. And it's owned by Google. Well, it's owned by Alphabet, which owns Google and YouTube, right? Same company. So it's where people are every day. That's why I use YouTube, because it's where people are every day. And all you have to do is create engaging content that's relevant on the topics that people are actually typing into the platform. And what that does is it allows you to be discovered. So I use YouTube just as a discovery engine. It's how you've heard about me. It's why you're here. And then from here, then I have a pattern of, what am I offering you? I'm always offering you something more. In today's video, I'm offering you the audience attraction formula, which is right here, right? Audience attraction formula to get, let me get your comment off the screen, to get you to give you more value. What is this? It's a free training for 4+ hours. I'm teaching an entire course for free. You can come to for free. I'm going to give you something amazing, but you have to give me your email address, right, to get access to that. So then now I'll have you on my email list. And then now my email list will automatically follow up with you, let you know about products and services. And then if I do promotions, or I'm launching something, or my book's coming out, which it is, by the way, more on that soon, then I can let you know about it and sell product that way. And so I'm going from content discovery using discovery engine like YouTube. I'm going to push you to a lead magnet. And today that's the one I'm talking about. And then basically get you on my email list, follow you up with my products. That's the formula, and that's what works. If YouTube goes away, doesn't matter. I have my email list. If there's another platform that opens up and I need to move there, sure, I'll move there. But YouTube is a search engine, and that's why I'm here. I'm not here necessarily to engage with people. I'm not here to post about what I had for lunch. I'm here to be discovered and to help people and to build trust and build likability and build rapport, so that when you download one of my free things, or you come to a free training, or you eventually get on my list and you hear about a product of mine, you already know that I'm legit. You already know that I'm for you and that I've probably already helped you for free. So that goes a long way to when I get to my sales pitch, you're like, well, dude, I mean, this guy's already helped me with this free stuff. Why shouldn't I consider his paid stuff? It really helps long term. I hope that helped answer your question. Juan says, I've been making tutorials mostly about rock music, though in South America, rock is not very popular right now, which is so sad, because rock is awesome. Should I transition to talking about more popular music? It just depends, man. If that's still in an alignment with what you're trying to offer people, like if it's just music production and you can talk about music production in any genre, then sure. If you're branded and your niche is primarily though rock music, then that would be out of brand. So I guess it just depends on how you set up your brand. Pencils and Stories says, no questions. I just want to say how excited I am to start your Automatic Income Academy. Aw, thank you so much, man. So many of my awesome students are here. You guys are the best. See, can I just keep you up on the screen for a second? Pencils and Stories. This is what you want. And I'm not bragging on me at all, but like this is a win for me. I don't just want to make money and sell product. Anybody can do that. It really actually isn't that hard. What I want is to create like students for life, people who not only are willing to buy my products, but who are so happy that they are and are so excited to be in it, and who become part of my little world. And so that's when you know you're building something that matters. And that's what I want you. This is just a meta example of what I want for you, or students who show up at your YouTube lives or who email you and just say, hey, I just want to say I'm so excited to start your product. Like they bought it and now they're just telling you that they can't wait to dive into it. That's awesome. So thank you for that. Just encouraged me. I love that kind of stuff. Livia Costea says, off topic, sorry, but I have to ask, do you recommend using Kajabi for very small businesses that are selling art stuff and stationery? Great question. I get this a lot. I don't think Kajabi is your best platform for selling physical merchandise and physical products. You can, but you might benefit more from Shopify or some other tool. And I don't keep up with what the best tool is for that or the price points. Kajabi really is best for digital products, ebooks, online video courses, audio courses, membership sites, coaching products, things like that. Big Tuna says, are you going to self-publish your book or using traditional publishing? Traditional publishing. I went with a traditional publisher, Ben Bella, Matt Holt Books. They've been amazing. The book is available on Amazon right now. You can go to amazon.com and look my name up and you'll see it and pre-order your copy. It doesn't come out till March. And I'll have a lot more details coming out on that at the end of this month. I'll be talking a lot more about the book then. And if you do pre-order, there's some amazing goodies coming your way. I'll be able to, as long as you just hold on to your receipt, even if you pre-order it now, hold on to your receipt and you'll be able to get all those goodies as soon as I get that page up and running. I'm just in the middle of this big training coming out next week, the audience attraction formula. When that's done, little preview, I have a really cool mini series that I'll be dropping here on YouTube, and it'll be a self-contained mini podcast called How to Become a New York Times Bestselling Author. And I've interviewed some of my all-time favorite New York Times bestselling authors to just figure out how they did it, how they cracked the code, and a lot of cool stuff there. And I'll be talking about my book a bit as well. And I'll be talking more about the publishing process. It's been an amazing experience the last year and a half that I've been working on it, which is really, really cool. George KC, Graham, you helped me a couple times on the live chat. I just wanted to share that I have a Facebook group of 2,300 and I can't sell a course on Linux commands for 29 bucks. Is it me or the group? Not sure. It's hard to know without being in your group or seeing your sales page. What's the topic of your group, George? Do they talk about Linux? I mean, I'm assuming that's what they do. So you want to make sure there's a lot of alignment between your free group and what they're talking about and the product. It has to be like a no-brainer relevant offer. So assuming that that's the case, which looks, okay, yes, it looks like it is. Then it might just be, I don't think it's the price point. 29 bucks is cheap. Maybe it's too cheap. I don't know. I'd have to look at your sales page. I'm not really sure, my friend. A lot of times when I review sales pages for my paid students inside of my six-figure coaching community. And a lot of times when I see them, they're like, oh, it's not converting at all. And I see them, I'm like, this is awful. And it's awful, not because the website looks awful or because they need to be a professional copywriter, but they just have missed the way to speak to your audience's felt needs, which is another perfect segue for what I want you to come to next week. The audience attraction formula. Please just come. I'm going to put this up there again. I'm doing an entire 4+ hour mini course that I'm going to teach you for free. I'm live streaming it. Just come. There's no strings attached. Register for free. One of the things we're talking about is we're going to talk about the way the brain works and the way people engage so that you can create language that's not manipulative at all. We're going to talk about why selling and audience building is not about manipulation. It's about persuasion in the best sense of the word, about like making the case that this is valuable to you. And it's not just facts. There's physiological things happening in the brain and the way you speak to people in just even one sentence. You could have the simplest sales page, but if you get the one hook right, that one sentence, that one headline, it can make all the difference. And so I'm going to train you how the brain works and explain how this works as it relates to marketing. And then what I'm going to do is show you how to write compelling language that will help you do anything. It might help you sell this course, George. It might help you get someone to open up an email. It might help you to get someone to click on your YouTube video or subscribe to your podcast because the language is better. Your content is probably awesome. You probably know what you're talking about, but if the language isn't attractive, then we'll miss out. And that's where I think a lot of people are stuck. That's why I'm doing this training, is because a lot of my students have really good products. They're trying hard, but they're missing the most important thing. And that's the attraction in their communication and in their branding and everything that gets people to go, oh yeah, I gotta have this thing. And sometimes it's just changing a few words that makes all the difference. Great question. Mads says, when should I do a small task, like a 30 to 90 minute task by myself versus sending it to a team member? It also takes time to brief about the task. Oh yeah, we're getting a little off topic here, which is a good question. I'm not going to answer this one today because we're kind of getting off topic, but I just would say, maybe the quick answer is, if you're running low on time, like you should, and you have a team member, if it doesn't require your face, your voice, or your unique skill set, there's really no reason for you to do it unless you absolutely love it. So I would practice offloading as many tasks as you can. It's a good habit to get into. Fly Ride. Graham, how often do you drop the be yourself line? It's one of my faves. I miss Robin Williams. Super dope movie reference too. Yeah. The original Aladdin cartoon, like, you just can't really beat it. I'm trying to beat it, but every other Disney movie just seems to fall flat. And I think Robin Williams is the reason why. He's so funny. Love it. Let's see. Freeman says it's really hard to produce videos for YouTube about topics that people are engaged with. I'm a music producer from Belarus, and in Russian-speaking world, people love explicit hip hop a lot. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what kind of videos you're producing. Oh, so you want a different genre. You like rock and progressive much more. What could you advise? I mean, the internet is large. So I'm sure there's other people that like rock and progressive. Can you do it in English? If so, you open the door to a lot more people. If you can't, I'm sure there are still people that are Russian speaking all over the world that like rock and progressive music. And it may not be nearly as much as hip hop or explicit hip hop, as you said. But if you do your job right, it can be enough to sustain your living. So you don't need a large audience to make a living. You really, really don't. I use my student Aiko as an example a lot. Her email list is only 250 people, but she's doing about $20,000 to $30,000 a month in revenue. That's impressive. I don't even think I can do that. I love it. Magnivore says, I've been thinking of selling a course for $100, but I feel like if I charge $20 instead, it will be more accessible to people, and therefore the overall volume of sales will be greater. Thoughts? Magnivore, I want you to go watch a video here on my channel when you're done with this. Just type in lower prices. I think it's called like lower pricing myth, or does lower prices equal more sales? I wouldn't do it. Quick answer for two reasons. One, anything sub $50, you're starting to attract a different type of person, a different type of customer that I don't think you want. Two, I have found it takes just as much effort to convert a $20 product as a $100 product. You still need just as good of copy, good of a launch strategy. So why would you put all that effort into a $20 product when you could do that into a $100 product? The only exception would be is if you were planning on upselling into a $150 or $200 product on the back end and you're viewing it as a tripwire. It is possible to do that well, but it's just a slightly different strategy. So I think you're just afraid of, like, you should sell it for probably $100. Like, if you sell it for $100, but you only make 1/5 the number of sales, 20% of the sales that you would on the $20 product, you make the same amount of money. If you sell it for $100, but you get less than half the number of sales, you make more money than you would have if you sold it for $20. Don't sell it for $20. I don't care what it is. Don't sell it for $20. Kay says, Graham, I was going to send you an email about this, but asking here, could you talk about the seeming contradiction in what you say regarding high effectiveness as content marketing versus a low conversion rate? There's no contradiction. So I don't know what you're referring to, Kay. So low conversion rate is normal across products at large, right? So you think about it, most people in the world are going to see your product. Fewer still are going to opt in for your email list, and fewer still are going to part with their money. It's just the way it is. I think people are shocked when they hear what a regular conversion rate is, because they're just making it up in their heads. Like, well, I just assume, 50% will buy or 40% will buy. Not even close. So there's no contradiction there. The content marketing is effective not because of conversion rates. It's effective because it becomes a perpetual, evergreen, hands-off, automatic way to generate leads. Because if you want to make money, we have to have people to sell our products or services to, right? So the question is, okay, where do you go get those people? And traditional thoughts are, oh, just run ads. So back in the day, it'd be, put up a billboard or run a commercial on TV, or these days, run Facebook ads. So we have to somehow pay to get in front of people so they're aware of our products or services. That's very basic. And so when I'm talking about content marketing, I'm saying this is a better way to get in front of people. You still have the same problem that every business has, which is getting in front of people, but content marketing is a better way because it costs nothing. It works for you perpetually without you having to do any work. And then what I think is better is that you're going to find your conversion rates are better with content marketing. So your conversion rates are going to be even worse than 1% if you're running ads. You're going to have to pay to play, and your conversion rate's going to be lower for most people. Why? Because it's cold traffic. It's people that don't know who you are. They only know about you because you showed up in an ad. So if you are selling to people who are on your list because they found you on YouTube or listened to your podcast, that's a very different pool of people to sell to than it is someone that just was scrolling through Instagram and saw your ad. So you're going to really, really convert more. I hope that answered your question. Marcus says, 3 people signed up and paid for my first live teaching. Since then, nobody signed up for future sessions that I've announced to my list. What's a great way to analyze what to change? You can ask people why they haven't signed up. Just email them and say, hey, I saw that you didn't sign up. Do you want to know why? What can I do to help serve you? What else are you looking for? I mean, just ask. Kareem says, what is the best way to expand the audience faster? I'm doing content videos, blog posts, but still the growth is slow. Yeah, come to my audience attraction formula training. Click the link below next week. We'll talk about that. One way to shortcut it is collaborations, guest posts. That really helped out for me early on in the Recording Revolution days. Even if that person just has the same number of people on their email list as you, it's people that you don't have on your list. So seeing if you can do a guest post or a collaboration or interview and offer them a free lead magnet for their audience would be awesome. Let's see. Quincy says, thank you. 3 myths about charging lower prices. That was the name of my video. Thank you. I would have gone and searched it, but I'm here right now. So go watch that, Magnivore, and see my thoughts there. And we'll end here. Viva says, please say more about how to use a tripwire. Well, you know, I won't dive into that much here. Maybe I'll do a video on that upcoming. I'm not the biggest fan of tripwire products. I will say that. I think there's a place for them. And I'm using some. I'm doing some tests this year, using one right now to see. But not a huge fan of them. I'm much rather interested in a giving you just take the free stuff. If you can't buy my course, just take the free stuff. Then when you're ready to buy my course, pay what it's worth. And I'm already making my courses so much more affordable than they should be, but it's still too expensive for some people. Wait until you're ready to buy it, then buy it. That's just how I view it. Dylan, what's up, brother? What kept you motivated while making content and not getting any money or views? Well, I mean, I will say I was getting views from day one. I mean, day one, maybe none other than my mom. But early on, I had views, and I might have been 30 views. But to me, that was 30 people that found my content. And I always imagined myself in my living room with those 30 people. If I had 30 people sitting in front of me in my living room listening to what I had to say, it's like, man, that's awesome. So to me, that was motivating, that there was some engagement, and maybe I had low standards. But that motivated me early on. And then honestly, when I didn't have any money, I had to do something. And I've shared this in my story before, but I had to do something to stay sane. I can't control so much in my life and my business, but I can control if I'm putting out content. So for me, consistent content production and posting as much as I possibly could was the best thing and only thing I could do. And that's why I highly recommend it to people, because it's done really, really well for me. Great question. Hey, great conversation today. Just finally going to ask you to come next week, please. Click on the link below, grahamcochran.com/formula. Check it out. What I'm doing next Thursday, October 14th, is a one-time live training called the Audience Attraction Formula, and I want you to come. It's completely free to attend. We're going to dive deep into how to make a brand that is super attractive, that people come to, want to engage with, want to dive into your content, want to open your emails, want to buy your products, want to recommend you to other people. It is a formula in that there are some key things you should be doing. It's great content, a lot of brand new, most of it is brand new content I haven't taught elsewhere. And I want you to come. It's going to be a ton of teaching, live Q&As after every module. I think there's 7 modules. And I'm not doing this again. This is 100% live. And I know time zones are crazy. I know you're busy and you have plans. I get it. But register anyway. Even if you can only come for an hour, it'll be worth your time. Even if you can only sneak in for 30 minutes, it's going to be worth your time. I promise you. Even if you just get one idea from it, it'll be worth, because it's literally free. It doesn't cost you anything. So come, please, please, please come. I'm so excited about this. I've been cooking up some stuff, and I'm ready. I'm ready to hang out with you and serve you. And a lot of these questions really led into it. Like, how do I grow my audience, Graham? That's what this is for. That's what you keep saying, keep asking. So we're going to dive deep into that, and it's going to get super practical. I'm going to give you some really, really good stuff that you can take action on right away and try to grow your audience in the next 30 days after that training. So please come hang out, register. Even if you're not sure you can come, just register, please. It'll be awesome. And again, to the topic today, which we got maybe a little off topic on, but it's just all relevant, is, don't build your business on social media. Build your own audience, build an email list. I got a ton of content on this YouTube channel on email lists. So just type an email list inside my channel and go to town. There's just so much good stuff there that'll help you. I'm excited. I've got CBI says I've reserved the whole 4 hours. I love it. It's going to be awesome. It will be at least 4 hours. I can't go longer than 5 because I'm going to have to go pick up my kids from piano or wherever they're going to be on Thursday at that time. But it is at least 4 hours. It's going to be amazing. We will have a bathroom break. Don't worry. But it's going to be fun. So buckle up, get some coffee or get whatever your favorite sandwich is, and come next week. All right. Thank you for hanging out with me so much. Amazing questions. You guys are amazing. If you're liking these lives with Grahams, leave me a comment below, even when this video is done, and say, yes, please keep up the live with Grahams. If you hate them, you can tell me that too. Because if no one comes and nobody likes them, then I'll go do something else during my time here. But I'm doing this for you. I really enjoy the engagement, enjoy being able to answer your questions as well. Have an amazing day. And I can't wait to see you next week on the live training. See you guys.